This is my shop. It's a metal building. It's a wood frame construction. Real popular. A lot of pole barns and metal buildings are built this way. It's 40 by 50 and it's got 12-foot ceilings. One of the problems with these type of buildings, I don't really think the trusses are necessarily engineered for a full-blown ceiling system. The guy that built it, I asked him something about a ceiling. I said, well, what about sheetrock? And he kind of looked at me, raised an eye like, are you crazy look? And obviously the weight is an issue, but the other problem is the way they're built, the truss spacing. That may be a little dark in here. I've got my temporary lights removed so I can put a ceiling in. This is very typical construction. They're usually on 4-foot centers. In my case, they're on 5-foot centers, not uncommon. You know, the trusses are engineered for the building. I really don't know, and you probably wouldn't either. What kind of a load are they rated for? If you have a good connection to your builder, maybe he can find that information out from the supplier. But in my case, my builder's long since gone. I have no idea. Is it even a big deal to have a ceiling in a shop like this? Well, let me tell you that on a 100-degree day, which we get here in Arkansas almost every summer, it's about 110 or 115 in here. This metal roof, it just turns into a metal hot box. Well, let's talk about the old standby sheetrock. That's what we're all used to using. Nobody's really that crazy about it either, I don't think. I looked into locally some prices and some information. First, let's talk about it in the terms of weight. Now, for a ceiling, a lot of people will put 5/8 in because it doesn't sag. If you look at an old house, 20, 30-year-old house, the roof is just waves across it, after it's been there for a while. And a lot of people would use 5/8 sheetrock for a ceiling. That stuff weighs 2.31 pounds per square foot. So every 4x8 sheet is 71 pounds. Now you put that in the terms of a shop like this. Well, this is a 2,000 square foot ceiling. That's 4,620 pounds of weight. You're going to hang a large car from the roof. That's pretty much what that is. That's pretty heavy. Well, how does metal compare? I'm using 26 gauge metal. This stuff only weighs 0.9 pounds per square foot. I bought 3-foot by 10-foot sheets, so each panel is 27 pounds. That's a heck of a lot easier to pick up than the 71 pounds of drywall. So my 2,000 square foot ceiling will weigh about 1,800 pounds. That's 2.5 times less than the drywall. That's a big difference. Something else you got to think about is when you order this metal, I can order it any length I want. And so if your trusses are on 5-foot centers, you can order this in 10-foot sheets or 15-foot sheets if you want to try to pick it up there. Drywall usually comes in 8-foot or 12-foot sheets. Well, so if you're, like in my case, if you're on a 5-foot centered truss, even if you buy 12-foot sheets, you're wasting 2 feet of every sheet. You're going to throw it away. Or at least it seems that way to me. With the metal, it's already cut. You don't even have to cut it. If you get a clear span ceiling like this, you order the right length, you screw it up and you're done. Oh, but cost. Now you'll think, well, drywall is pretty cheap. That's what they use in almost all residential construction. It's fast and cheap. And you're right. If you look it up around here locally, it sells for about 36 cents a square foot. It's not too bad. Your metal roofing, it's about 73 cents a square foot. So yeah, if you look at it that way, the metal does cost almost twice as much. Or does it? Okay, so drywall is cheaper, right? Well, if you're going to put down some drywall, you know what? Drywall is not designed to be on 5-foot centers, so it's designed to be on 2-foot centers. So that means you're going to have to frame up a whole bunch of a whole bunch of sealing. You know, and all the tools are related to that. Once you get it framed up and your sheetrock screwed up there, well, now you got to do joint compound. You're gonna need some of that. You're gonna need a few 5-gallon buckets of joint compound, a drill, tons of screws. You can cut it with a knife, it's not usually too bad. And you're going to have a square. You put on your first coat of drywall mud, let it dry. Second coat of drywall mud, let it dry. Well, then you got to sand your joints. A few gallons of primer with a paint gun or a stick. And then just don't forget at least a coat or two of paint. Yeah, drywall's cheaper. Weighs 2.5 times as much. You got to carry almost 5,000 pounds of it in off of the truck. Takes all that to put it in. Yeah, it's cheaper. Well, let's compare to the more expensive metal roofing. Yeah, your base material costs twice as much. And to install it, you got to have some screws and a drill. And oh wait, you're done. Okay, maybe you might have to cut it. I use a circular saw. I got these metal cutting discs at a farm supply store. They're $1.94 each. They cut it just fine. They don't even mess up the paint. It looks pretty easy. Well, let me tell you the weight thing. It's a bigger deal than just the trusses. As you can probably tell, I went with the metal roofing for my ceiling material. I carried this in off the trailer. My total load was almost 1,900 pounds. And I can tell you carrying in 1,900 pounds was enough. I really don't even want to think about carrying in almost 5,000 pounds of drywall. So in the end for me, yes, the metal costs a little bit more up front, but the labor is so drastically less. And there's nothing worse than painting ceilings anyway, guys. So it's a no-brainer to me. If you've got a large span, this 26 gauge metal will cover it just fine. You don't have to have any support structure under there. I'm going to blow cellulose insulation on top of it. It'll handle the weight just fine. You screw this stuff up, it's already pre-cut to the right lengths, and you're done. No painting, nothing. You don't have to worry about it sagging. You're done. Sheetrock is an enormous amount of work. So there it is, guys. I'm going to post another video on a trick I came up with on installing this by yourself. It makes it a whole lot easier. So look for that too. Thanks.